From sorting recyclables to reducing landfill overflow, waste pickers contribute immensely to the circular economy, yet they often work under difficult conditions with little recognition. So today, we aim to highlight their contributions, the challenges they face, and how we can support them.
So joining us for this conversation is Esther Fagbo. I know it sounds familiar. She's a sustainability leader and environmentalist who has been actively advocating for waste management reform and inclusive policies for waste pickers. You are welcome. Thank you very much
Esther.
for gracing breakfast extra, Ms. You got me tongue-tied.
Thank you so much for coming on.
I'd like to know, let's define who waste pickers are in the context of Nigeria.
Okay, so in the context of Nigeria, waste pickers are like the people that you see on the street who carry bags. Sometimes they can be Malams, but there are other tribes that are there as well, and then they pick waste. Not all kind of waste, but valuable waste, recyclable waste, metals, plastic, carton. You see them on the streets, they pick it and then they put it in a bag. They're always with a bag. Sometimes they might look not very good, not like you and I, you know, but they just go from street to street, house to house, and then pick waste from the street.
Now you said valuable waste.
Oh yes, valuable
Once
waste.
again, how valuable can a tin can or a rubber plastic PET bottle, or how valuable are these? Have I missed the calling?
Maybe. So when, for instance, recycling started years ago in Nigeria, you know, there was not so much value. People would get these recyclables and get gift items. But today, plastic, for instance, is sold at about 500, 600 naira per kilogram. And the can is like, sometimes you can get can for almost 1,000 naira per kilogram.
It's rubbish gold.
Yes, rubbish gold. So they make a living out of it, and then over the course of my work, I have seen that a lot of waste pickers can have like the kind of life that you and I have in terms of having a good family, sending their children to school, buying a house, building a house. I know of a woman, Daniel, that I told a story in my documentary where she had picked waste, gotten money from the waste, and then with this money, she's building a house. And this is somebody that doesn't even have a shop in Lagos.
Right. But there's stigmas that come with it, aren't there? And let's talk about the stigmatization of the waste pickers. They play a crucial role in recycling and recyclables, right? But there's also a stigma that comes with that. Back in the day, we used to call them kongis. It was, if you know, you know. Kongis was what we call them, right? And they would be right in the landfill, and they'd wear clothes with their raffia bags, you know, picking the trash. And now it's now metamorphosed to Mebula, right? And even though they're still trying to get some sort of shine, it's stigmatized. Why is that, and how can you destigmatize it?
So the reason why, I mean, that's part of the reason why we're advocating for them and always speaking their truth. The reason why it's stigmatized is because people see them as, you know, these people are not doing the work that every other person is doing. And Nigeria as a country, sometimes we don't really have respect for labor and the work that people do. So there is that. And then people have tagged them as thieves, as armed robbers. I mean, there was a recent ban in Abuja recently because the government found out that, you know, people are disguising as waste pickers to perform like things that are not right, like stealing and vandalizing the city. So they are being stigmatized. They're not recognized for the job that they do. They are very important in the recycling value chain because at the bottom of that pyramid, they are there. And if they don't collect that waste, especially for a society like Nigeria where we are not exactly where we're supposed to be in terms of waste management, like sorting our waste from source. For instance, do you sort your waste at home?
No,
I do.
I just dump it there.
So
I do.
Banana peels go with plastic
very
and all.
good. I do, no, because the estate has provided, you know, means for us to be able to do that. So we do that, right? So I do. When my plastic bottles are piled up somewhere because there's a spot to go recycle it. So I really do. Yeah, I do.
Go recycle it?
Yeah,
So you
there's
get money
spots
from it?
around. No, you don't get money, Ray, but there's spots around the estates where you can do that. But I have to also ask, right? You said they're at the bottom of the food chain, and so that means that because they're at the bottom of the food chain when it comes to the blue collar sector, right? When it comes to, because they're there, it means that there's not really so much as regulation and bodies that cover them, right? And I remember an event where I was talking to one of the officials who works with Last Mile, or I can't remember, and he was saying that that he can count, he was lost count of times where there are cadavers, that they would, stumble on cadavers at landfills, and he was saying that there are times where, they have to find a way to protect the persons who work under them, the speakers as well. So let's talk about the challenges that the speakers face and how regulation is important for such an informal sector that is crucial to recyclable.
Very good question.
Yeah, so the challenges that they face really is a lot like health challenges. You see them working without personal protective equipment, and that exposes them to different health challenges. I mean, if somebody is going to your bin to pick up things without hand gloves and then they're just working, there's health challenges, there's the stigmatization, there is unfair wages because there is nobody that is exactly covering them so that they get real value for the waste that they collect. But I would say that in terms of regulation and policy, like every other thing, policy and regulation would take time. The government would also take time to look at the sector. LOMA, for instance, is in charge of waste management in Lagos, and for instance, I've had a conversation, and even in the documentary, the Loma MD had said that we're not even supposed to be calling them waste pickers, we're supposed to be calling them urban miners, because what they are doing is helping to save the environment. And he doesn't even say waste pickers. If he's here now, he will say urban miners. So because seeing that they are having that conversation, and even having like the essay to the governor on circular economy, having conversation around how we need to now formalize them and make their work more seen, you would know that there are backings, but with every other regulation, there has to be like processes that would take place. So there's registration going on for them with Loma, for instance, in Lagos State.
Registration?
Yes, there's a registration that...
So it's beginning to get formalized?
Yes, it's beginning...
Because I was going to ask how involved is the Lagos State government in these pickers and the recycling process?
Oh,
urban miners.
These urban miners.
There we go.
How involved is the Lagos State with these urban miners?
Oh, so Lagos State is really very involved. I mean, with waste management, I would give it to Lagos State because they have all the agencies that are working to ensure that there is formalization. They support these people as well. So for instance, they support in their programs, in their activities. When we have like programs to support waste pickers, we go to like Olusosun to give like free health checkup to waste pickers, for instance. If you don't have the backing of the urban miners, right? If you don't have the backing of the government, you're not able to do that. And I have seen for sure like the continuity of government even in this sector, because when the MDs are changed, you see that
continuity is always an issue for us.
It's always an issue, but in this sector, I think that they're doing very well in terms of continuity because it keeps growing.
Judith, I wanted to mention something. First of all, you are so passionate about this, and it's very obvious. Just wanted to put that out there. Secondly, let me tell you both a story. I sat down at the beach once, and I met this young man, pretty much the same age, and he bought me a drink, and even bought me supper that evening. And we sat down, we talked. He had this very glorious, luxurious watch on and a very beautiful, luxurious car outside. And when I went on to ask him what he did for a living, he said, well, he picks waste. Well, he didn't put it exactly like that, but it became
into waste management.
He's into waste management, urban mining, and all that. But he had a Mercedes outside. So it made me curious. Now, he told me exactly how he plugs into this hierarchy or into this value chain that you spoke of. What is this value chain, and how high up does this value chain get? how rich can I get?
How rich? I mean, before you answer the question,
Let's just go there.
Before you answer the question, if you were driving by road doing the Lagos-Ibadan Express, if you're going to Shagamu-Ibadan or Ekpe-Remo, and you're going through the Lagos-Ibadan, there was a spot just outside on the outskirts of Lagos that read, S business is...
Oh, big business.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
indeed.
they were, yeah.
So waste business is also big business because I can't still, I know the brand, I know the color of the card, everything. If I see him go past, I say, there he is. But how high up does this value get?
Yes, I would say that it's very high. I mean, when I said I wanted to study environmental management and go into waste management, people thought that I was crazy. They felt like, there's not going to be any job for you. My friends were like, you're going to come out and do wole. I don't know if you know wole, people that goes about to, I don't know how to say in English. Sorry. So it was like there was no job. But now I'm having a living out of this, in this sector.
I know, I saw your car outside.
Yes. So with that, you can tell that there is, something. Even for, I'm speaking now to people that are corporates that want to build a career in this sector. Now, in terms of the value chain, so there is the urban miners at the bottom of the pyramid picking the recyclables, and they sell to aggregators, and some of these aggregators can go from small to very large aggregators.
Where do they sell these to aggregators? The aggregators actually, they have a meeting place.
So there are so many aggregators in Lagos.
Another place
State.
in Mushin. A very big place in Mushin.
Yes, there are so many places. If in Bega here, there are so many places in everywhere in Lagos. All local governments in Lagos, you would always find an aggregator. That the sector has grown that
So they
big.
collect.
Yes,
compress.
they collect. So when they collect, different things happens. For some aggregators, most aggregators right now in Nigeria, when they collect, they bale the material, they remove the cap and the labels. The material that has the highest value now being can and plastic.
Okay.
So for the plastic, the cap and the label, just remove that, and then they compress the material using a baling machine. That material is being now sold to off-takers. So for instance, the company where I work, we have also now started exporting that material and then getting foreign exchange for the material that we're selling. So that's how big it can go. There is also going up the value chain to begin to convert the materials to pellets. And this can now be used to make cotton clothing, other plastic. You hear of some organizations that would say, oh, we have moved from, we have achieved 50% recycled plastic. So in their product. So if they say, oh, we're using 50% recycled plastic in our product, that means 50% of the plastic that you would buy as bottled water or as a drink is from recycled plastic. So it's from the plastic that you had used previously that has now gone through that process of recycling, and then is now being recycled.
This recyclable is, and by recyclable I mean the circular economy. It's fast growing. I mean, I won't say fast growing, but it is growing and it's gaining some sort of recognition. And so that turned in. Let's talk about technology and synergy between the private and public sector, right? Do you think that in Nigeria we have been able to adopt technology into the circular economy and even a synergy between the private and public sector, given that we have the FMCG companies that are here, all of the products that we see being, carried and, in our restaurants? Have we found a system that works? And if not, what can we do to get there on a global standard, to get a global standard?
Well, in terms of circular economy, I would say that circular economy is, I have done trainings in circular economy in 2021 for government officials, private sectors, and NGO. At the time, it was just coming. Now is a buzzword. And as with every buzzword, everybody wants to say circular economy. So circular economy really is just moving from the linear economy where it's just take, make, and use and dump to now the circular
recycle.
Where the products, you think about reusing the product, you think about how, that product can be recycled and then reused for something. That's when you say circular. And in terms of Nigeria, honestly, we're not there yet. Because of my experience, I mean, I went to a circular building in Germany that is circular Was this in Germany or Netherlands? Sorry.
Wait, hang on a second. Germany, you don't even know where it has taken you to. So this is how big this industry is.
So you're just looking for where it's going to transition into. You're just looking for... Wait.
Go ahead. Sorry. I'm sorry.
I was going to talk about the circular building that I had seen.
Yeah, go ahead.
So in this building, the electricity, the water that is being used, everything,
solar powered.
yes, solar power, the water is recycled water. So if you go to the toilet, if you flush the toilet, waste water that goes, is purified and then being used again. So there is that process. There is the ventilation of the building. There are plants and all of that in the building that helps to keep that building ventilated. But in Nigeria, and then there are also like things that you can use, you can use and reuse, and then all of those processes you can see. In Nigeria, we're coming up, and we're going to get there, honestly, because we're building that momentum, and then you can see everybody pushing for it and driving that focus. We are going to get there, but we're not there yet.
We're not there yet. And the FMCGs they're not there yet then, in terms of, like, at least even the plastics, not even to go about the energy production.
So in terms of plastic, I don't, with the FMCG, some of them are supporting, like, ensuring that, I don't want to mention names, so some of the FMCGs are really supportive, and you will see them supporting recycling initiatives, supporting organizations to do all of this. Like I mentioned, some of them will say, oh, we have achieved plastic neutrality. Some of them will say, oh, we have, we're using 50% recycled material. You know, that's like the power that they are pushing, the push that they have for that material, and how, but some of them, you know, I mean, in recycling, for instance, the clear and the blue bottles have more value in the market. Why don't we have most of our drinks and all the others that are
these kinds of packages?
In this kind of packages.
Very interesting.
So,
when
you know,
you start
thinking about that in terms of the
Mrs. Esther Fagbo, I want to say that you love doing this not because it takes you places or makes you money, but
she loves it because she cares about the planet.
Exactly.
Yes.
And let's say we appreciate this about you, and thank you very much for making Breakfast Extra actually a platform that you come to expose us.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.